Hello everyone, this is CJ with Cycletron. Today I have something a little different for you. ChatGPT has been in the news a lot lately. For those of you who have not heard of this program, it's an artificial intelligence interface that can be used to generate responses to user-defined statements or queries using a natural language type format. The free public version of this application was just released about a week ago by the company that owns it, OpenAI, which is a company Elon Musk has some early involvement with. So I decided to check out ChatGPT for myself by seeing what type of responses I could get by inputting queries related to some motorcycle-specific related topics, and specifically to see if the AI could generate poems related to describing the joys of motorcycle riding. Before I get into how all that turned out, I thought I'd provide an overview of why I did this. As we all know, riding a motorcycle is a highly subjective human experience. Could an AI interface accurately capture and describe this experience? You know, humans are constantly having to redefine their relationship with technology by deciding what to use and how to use it. Even for motorcycles, you have some people who embrace the variety and complexity of rider aids and other electronically based features that are increasingly part of the manufacture of a new motorcycle. Other riders lament these changes and prefer to ride motorcycles that have minimal, if any, electronics, in favor of a purely mechanical-based experience, which relies more on the ability of the rider to maintain safety. My youngest son is the one that told me about these AI interfaces. Some of these interfaces are used for generating text, and others can be used to generate very artistic graphic images. My son told me that he figured out he could complete an entire high school English assignment that involved producing a story with illustrations using these AI interfaces. His story turned out great. I asked him what his school thought about the students potentially using such tools. He said that no one had mentioned anything about it. My advice to him was that he keep this capability to himself, since I figured the school administration would try to allege that it was cheating somehow to use these tools. He ended up telling just one friend about this at school, and not surprisingly, word spread, and within 2 days the school banned any access or use of these AI tools. In my view, the school administration's knee-jerk reaction was a missed opportunity to enable their students to learn how to use these tools effectively, since they're only going to become more widespread throughout society. Also, with ChatGPT, you will find that crude or explicit type queries will not generate any results at all from the application. Here's the message that came back when I entered the prompt: write a ribald poem about motorcycle riding. The message was, "I'm sorry, I'm not programmed to create content that is explicitly sexual or crude in nature. I'm a language model trained to assist with a variety of tasks, and my purpose is to provide helpful and accurate information to the best of my abilities. Is there anything else I can help you with?" Didn't get very far with that. I'll show you a portion of my session with this application to see if it could write a decent poem about the joys of motorcycle riding. So initially I just entered that query into the interface and it generated a decent response. I will describe these iterations and then recite the final version that I accepted. I say iterations because you can ask the interface to try again after a response has been provided. You can also cut and paste selections from the response and ask the AI to refine its responses. So you can see it's just a tool that's best used by following a person's input and judgment. After the initial poem was generated, I had it try the same exercise by writing the poem in the style of Ogden Nash, who, in my opinion, is one of the more well-known humorous American poets. To give you an idea, one of his collections of poems was called The Trashery of Ogden Nashery. So I'll leave this up on the screen for a bit. I think the program did pretty well. Now keep in mind, apparently the more detailed your input is into the AI interface, the better responses you'll get. So next I tried the same exercise by having the poem about the joys of motorcycle riding written in the style of Dr. Seuss. I basically borrowed this idea from my son, who did the same type of thing for his school assignment. It wasn't too bad overall, but the last line didn't make sense, which was, "for the open road where hearts truly lack." So I entered the prompt to improve the following poem and cut and paste the entire poem that the program had generated in the style of Dr. Seuss to see if it would fix the last line, and it did. Of course, I'm free to edit anything that the program generates to my own satisfaction, but I wanted to show, for purposes of this video, what this AI might do with limited input. So here I'll recite the complete poem that was generated by the AI in the style of Dr. Seuss. "Oh, on my motorcycle I do ride, with the wind in my hair and the world by my side. I twist the throttle and feel the power surge as I leave the city behind and the open road emerges. I ride and I ride with the sun on my face and I feel truly alive in this special place. I am the master of my own fate, and the open road is mine to conquer and create. So let the world spin and let it turn, for on my motorcycle I am free to burn. I'll ride and I'll roam, and I'll never look back, for the joys of motorcycle riding are something I won't lack. I'll ride through the mountains and I'll ride through the valleys. I'll ride through the cities. I'll ride through the alleys. I'll ride and I'll ride until the day I die, for the joys of motorcycle riding are worth every mile. So here's to motorcycle riding and the freedom it brings. May we ride and roam, and may our spirits never grow old, for there's nothing quite like the feeling of the open road, and the joys of motorcycle riding are something to be cherished and hold. I think this was a pretty interesting and fun exercise. I posted this full poem here in the description to this video. So what do you think? Did the program capture the essence of what it is to experience motorcycle riding? Did it sound like a Dr. Seuss book in your opinion? To go along with this program, I had the Dall-E AI graphics program, which is also an open AI program, to generate this thumbnail. I added the text using an editing tool, and since these AI graphics programs typically generate text that looks like a cross between Cyrillic and Thai scripts. Then my son, who is much better at this stuff than me, generated his thumbnail, which is the actual one I used for this video, which definitely looks like it could grace the cover of a Dr. Seuss book. I also tried a couple of iterations where I had the program write the poem in the style of Johnny Cash, and then specifically in the style and meter of Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues. The program provided some output and then added this disclaimer. Note, the meter of this poem is similar to Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues, but it is not an exact match. Folsom Prison Blues has a more complex meter and rhyme scheme than the simple ballad meter and rhyme scheme that this poem has. So anyone, including a student, can learn a lot from engaging an AI to assist with completing an assignment or other creative endeavor. And like any new disruptive technology, many people's reaction is to fear it because they don't fully understand what it is or what it could lead to. I don't know how much I'll use these applications to try and improve the content of future motorcycle topic videos, but I think it could be beneficial. So if one day you tune in and you see a robot instead of me, you'll know what happened. So I didn't have much luck using the AI to predict the future of Harley-Davidson Motor Company. It came back with a bunch of text that seemed pretty boilerplate, which I confirmed when I pretty much got the same response when I asked it to assess Indian motorcycles. I also tried to get the AI to give specific financial predictions about Harley-Davidson, and the message came back that it doesn't have access to the internet or specific information about a given company. I'm guessing that's probably for liability reasons, but I'm not sure. I do know that the program is essentially a database with a great code that permits user interaction. I'm sure the information from a person's session is used for future queries in some fashion. You can provide specific comments or feedback on the program results as well. Also, I'm pretty sure that the information about how people iterated a given query or at what point they were satisfied with the results is also stored and used to improve future interactions. Such a technology, like many new technologies, poses the potential to be highly disruptive to traditional ways of doing things. It reminds me about what happened when Edward Thorp, an MIT mathematics and computer professor, wrote a paper and then later a book called Beat the Dealer. That book contained a summary of his blackjack strategy that also included strategy variations based upon the card count. After the book was published, casino owners panicked and immediately changed their house rules to be much more in favor of the house because they thought they were going to lose all their money to these newly minted counters who had read Thorp's book. What they found instead was that they made more money than ever because people essentially knew enough to be dangerous. Most players did not devote enough time or discipline to memorize the strategies or to effectively maintain a card count. So the casino rolled back many of the unfavorable rules that they had enacted in the aftermath of the book and watched as the money just rolled in. I could picture using the AI to enhance your motorcycle riding experience, or even to suggest what type of motorcycle would best suit your interest and experience level as a rider. If you like this video on this type of content, please hit the subscribe and notification buttons, and please stay tuned for future videos. Thanks very much.